Section 1 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Ginger Kukalo. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Dance of the Snowflakes. "Let's dance to the brown old earth tonight," cried one little flake of snow. "The autumn days have all passed by. I'm tired of my home here in the sky." So they all agreed to go. They dressed themselves in a misty film of purest pearly white. Their feet were clad in velvet down, as soft and white as the filmy gown they wore to the dance that night. Wrapped round with a drape of ravelled gauze were these little fays so fair, when out from a cloud a pale star beamed. Bright diamonds sparkled, laughed, and gleamed in their fleecy, tangled hair. Already, so pretty a crowd were they that naught could their charms enhance. Then softly and quickly they sped away, for the whispering wind was the cab that they rode in to the snowflakes' dance. They flew over housetop, hilltop, dell, with dances and with delight, though ne'er did sound of their presence tell. Wherever their fairy footsteps fell, all turned to a crystal white. In the daintiest robes the trees were dressed, that ever you'd wish to see. The way-worn traveller, he was blessed, and stroked and kissed and soft caressed by these fays in rapturous glee. Into every crevice and crack they peeped, they danced till the morning light. They left the print of their tiny feet o'er country road and city street in frolicsome fun that night. When the rosy face of the morning sun peeped timidly out to view, he beheld the earth, last night so brown, arrayed in a snow-white velvet gown that sparkled like a dancing dew. End of Section 1. Recording by Ginger Kukalo.
Section 2 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. An October day. 'Tis sunrise over the eastern hills. All hail, thou lovely morn! Thy tender blush, thy mellow light proclaim the autumn's born. All nature is so wondrous fair, bedecked with golden sheen. A fleecy cloudlet, here and there, in azure sky is seen. The gold and crimson leaves that give the trees their autumn gown are scattered by the gentle breeze upon the meadows brown. Though summer flowers that were so fair have faded, one by one, the goldenrod, in beauty rare, her reign has just begun. The grapevines now are laden with sweet clusters, oh so blue, and scattered over the orchard ground are rosy apples too. Oh, who could sigh for summer skies, for summer flowers and trees, for singing birds and rainbow showers mid autumn scenes like these? As sinks the glorious king of day adown the western sky, he bathes the trees and hilltops in a flood of crimson dye. He sets the westland all aglow before he sinks away. So endeth, as a beauteous dream, this lovely autumn day. End of Section 2. Recording by Britannia. Section number 3 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Welcome, sweet May, with thy sunshine and showers, thou'st driven away old winter's dark hours. Poor fellow! He seemed rather loth to depart, till thou, with thy sunshine, compelled him to start. Welcome, sweet May! Welcome, sweet May, that bringest to me, wherever I stray, a sweet memory, when fragrant pink blossoms hung thick overhead, and love lay asleep in a violet bed. Welcome, sweet May! Welcome, sweet May, with thy sunshine and showers, when young love awoke from sleep among the flowers. Each year, in thy sunshine, 'neath heavens of blue, with thy sweet, fragrant blossoms he's wakened anew. Welcome, sweet May! End of section 3. Recording by Britannia.
Section 4 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Lakeside. 'Tis the dearest, coolest place I can find. There the locust and the wild grape entwined float their dewy fragrance ever o'er the dancing St. Joe River, on the wings of the soft drowsy wind. In the cosiest of homes, neat and new, dwell its people so kind-hearted and true. Not a wall or tower high mars the tender sunlight sky, or shuts out the glad rainbow from view. When a dwelling for his mate is in quest, does the robin find its shelter the best. There his sweetest notes he brings, and a flood of music flings o'er your head as you pass 'neath his nest. There are morning glories dripping with dew, and the dogwood blossoms hang over you in a drowse of rapture sweet. Does this veil a cup to meet, and to bask in the smile of the blue? Would your soul, free from troubles, be made, all its worries and burdens unlaid, from the tumult and the heat of the noisy city street take yourself to the bliss of its shade. There you'll drink till you stagger as you plod, of the sweets from the blossom-spangled sod, while your weary frame is drenched, and your thirsty soul is quenched, in a shower of the great love of God. End of section 4.
Section 5 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Timothy Luke. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Autumn. Enchanting dawn of autumn days, so clear, so cool, so calm, o'er all creation breathing forth thy sweet, refreshing balm. The woodland dons its brightest hue, its rainbow-tinted gown. Each soft and dreamy breeze that blows brings showers of crimson down. Old earth now groans beneath her load of grain and fruited vine, that thickly hangs o'er orchard wall and drips with mellow wine. The birds fly lazily above, bathed in thy misty light, while on the hillside loll the kine in morning's gold delight. Wrapped in thy folds of golden mist, this restless soul of mine is lulled into a blissful dream of peace and love divine. End of section 5.
Section 6 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by CaprishaPage. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. To a Water Lily. Sweet flower, what cold, unfeeling hand hath plucked thee from that shady land where clear, cool waters lie, and velvet mosses kiss thy feet? Who took thee from thy loved retreat, and left thee here to die? Thou fairest gem of all the earth, in bonny wilds that gave thee birth, thy petals sweetness hold. I drink thy breath in fragrant draught, sweeter than royal lips e'er quaffed from cups of burnished gold. Who took thee from thy crystal home, where finny tribes delight to roam, and frisk in morning play, where never harsher sound was heard than fall of leaf, or trill of bird, or winds that softly sway the trees that bend thy nook above, and bending, whispered low of love to thee, my bonny flower, or whir of swallows' silken flight across the waves, the calm delight of evening's dappling shower. Although thou art crushed beneath my feet, thy dewy fragrance is more sweet than thy frail life's dawn. Thus, flower of love and purity, this lesson I have learned of thee, that when my friends are gone, and fate's rude tread has crushed my heart, its blossoms shall more sweets impart than at its first love's dawn. End of section 6. Recording by CaprishaPage.
Section 7 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. The Cyclone. How still the morn, no leaf is stirred, nor fruited branches sway, save now and then from dewy glen a breath of new-mown hay, or blossoms of the summer tide is wafted up the mountainside. How softly floats the cuckoo's song across the sleeping vale, in mystic glee the echo free gives back the fairy tale. The stream in drowsy ecstasy is gurgling onward to the sea. The lark swims slowly in the blue, the giant oak so high, in sunlit haze the branches raise as if to kiss the sky. We hear above the twittering birds, the placid lowing of the herds, the silvery laughter from the lips of children at their play, and in the rill below the mill the horses paw and neigh, while youths and maidens plight their vows, and workmen sing behind the ploughs. The noon is here, the sky is clear and tender as the morn, the ploughman's blessed with perfect rest when noontime shade is born. The bird has ceased his song to trill, the lowing of the herd is still. Unnoticed a dark speck appears above the trees on high. At rapid pace and fast increase it scuds across the sky, nor stops to rest o'er sea or lands till o'er this lovely vale it stands. An instant then, as if possessed of some aerial dale, with shriek and yell this imp of hell swoops down upon the vale, snatches the giant oaks from earth that nourishes them and gave them birth, and hurls them 'gainst the mountain side. One sweep of its black wings, and all is over, and as before the stream that loves and sings, but carries on its sunny tide fragments of debris to the wide and surging sea. The shattered boughs of oaks that proudly grew beside the stream, is it a dream? No, there's a baby's shoe. The sunset's crimson rays are shed soft o'er the dying and the dead, while angels hover near and spread their dewy shadows o'er the vale where morn in joy was born, a blackened pile, but for the song of one lone whip-poor-will, like to the morning, all is still. End of section 7. Recording by Niedermaier.
Section 8 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Timothy Luke. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Sunset on the Lake. 'Tis evening on Winona Lake, the last glad sunbeams rest, shedding their golden glories o'er her soft and silken breast. And as my little boat glides forth into their light, behold, the splashes from my oars are like great drops of liquid gold. And now a softer, richer hue o'erspreads the western sky. Trees, hilltops, water, everything seems bathed in crimson dye. And o'er the bosom of the lake soft summer breezes glide, bringing incense from the lilies on the other side. I wonder, oh, I wonder so, if in that world of bliss, where sunsets never come, there's aught more beautiful than this. O Father Time, if thou from me all else that's lovely take, leave only in my memory this sunset on the lake. End of section 8.
Section 9 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Kenji. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. To My Wheel. Thou'rt bonny my steed, though a bit out of style. We've travelled together full many a mile. Yet nothing can give me such perfect delight as to spring to thy saddle and spin out of sight. Away from the city of turmoil and strife, away from the cares that beset business life, to a shady, green-carpeted country retreat, where hearts ever-loving may placidly beat. Away over pathways with dewdrops bespangled, where myrtle and wild morning glory are tangled, and the violet borrows its velvety hue from the God-given radiance of heaven's own blue. And cowslips and buttercups grow where we tread. The breeze whispers soft through the trees overhead, as showers of pink blossoms with fragrance so rare, they shed o'er the ground, over us, everywhere. Thou faithful old friend, always ready to go, ne'er found out of order like others I know. And when off we go for a nice little spin, unlike other thou'st never left me to walk in. Exchange for another that's handsome and new. No, no, bonny steed, I will not part with you. But when thou art old, and thy usefulness o'er, in a nice cozy attic thy frame I will store. And every day, be it sunshine or rain, I'll steal to thy side, and in fancy again we'll skim the green meadows, my steed, you and I, 'mong the flowers that grow 'neath the soft, tender sky. Then come, let us bask in the dewy delight of the country. Hi-ho! We are soon out of sight. Though a bit out of style, just the same is thy speed. I love thee, my bonny bright steed. End of section 9.
Section 10 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Ratandeep Singh. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Despondency. O balmy night, a night in June, what endless beauty's thine! Hast thou a balm thou'lt gently breathe o'er tired souls like mine? The cricket 'neath the old porch floor chirps forth a merry lay. The roses nod and smile at me, a sweet good night, they say. O cricket, hush your merry song, how can you be so gay? Ye roses bow your crimson heads and mourn my vanished day. End of section 10.
Section 11 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. How oft from the din of the hard city street, the show and the splendor, in fancy my feet stray backward through paths that are dripping with dew, to an old-fashioned garden my babyhood knew. A wealth of red roses hung over the wall, and laden with pink, downy peaches, a tall willowy tree did its long branches sway overhead as you passed in an inviting way, while from its green shelter the oriole's song rode on the soft breezes the summer day long. The currant bush flourished in rows near the wall, the sugar corn waved its soft leaves over all, the buttercups, daisies, and peonies grew, the fragrant June pinks and the wee bells of blue. The marigolds, poppies, and pansies so sweet lifted their dewy faces towards heaven to meet. The first smile of morning, the fragrant sweet pea, wound its delicate tendrils round pickets and wee, to drowsiness drank of the odor it spilled, while sunflowers nodded to us as we filled our baskets with blossoms for their bouquets, or lulled in the bliss of the soft morning haze. Or with aprons outspread in our childish delight, the butterfly chased in its foraging flight among the flowers, or the hummer, the gay little thief, that pilfered the sweets of each petal and leaf. But long years ago the old garden was sold, its walls, rustic gates, all crumbled to mould, its beds and smooth pathways 'neath grass tangles hid, for the breezes of June time are whispering mid. The flowers that blossomed their pallet above, who tended the old-fashioned garden I love, and singing their lullaby sweetest where lies my playmate and sister with bonny blue eyes. And I hope when my sojourn of usefulness here is past, to the place that my bosom holds dear I may go, and there pillow my head 'neath the tree, where robin and oriole chirrup in glee, while my soul slips away from the spot that I love, to old-fashioned gardens that grow up above. End of section 11. Recording by Elli in September 2012.
Section 12 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Dance of the Ripples. I stood, one night, by the old St. Joe, where the moonbeams love to loiter, watching the ripples come and go, and the willow trees their shadows throw on the mystic, murmuring water. As I lingered there on the vine-clad bank, where the pale rays glint and quiver, through the silvered leaves a perfumed breeze so softly swayed the willow trees, and dappled the laughing river. The waters murmured so low and sweet, then an echo, soft and clear. Not the sound of lute or song of bird, but the sweetest music ever heard, fell on my enchanted ear. The silvered ripples all leaped for joy, and over the waters glancing I saw, in the light, a pretty sight. In an ecstasy of glad delight, the ripples all were dancing. They danced in the midst where the stars looked down, no shadowy branch to hide them. They danced where the willows kissed the stream, then back again in the moonlight's gleam, and the fish peeped out and eyed them. They danced in the shade of the iron bridge, where the aspen's shadows play, and the great moon smiled as the dancers fled, and spangles dropped on each little head as they laughed and danced away. End of section 12. Recording by Tyler Harms.
Section 13 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. The Pessimist. Arrayed in a garment of fleeciest down, the winter king rides over meadows so brown. Through wild wailing woodlands so stark and so bare, he rides on the wind to the great everywhere. He dresses the trees in the daintiest gown, and over each window in country and town, with fairy-like fingers unheard and unseen, he pictures in crystal and silvery sheen most beautiful cities with steeples and towers, and wild tangled mazes bespangled with flowers. But mid the sweet music of jingling bells, you hear the old pessimist counting his ills. With a sorrowful shake of the head murmurs he, "Such nasty cold weather I never did see. The streets are so slippery one can't walk at all, for danger of breaking a leg by a fall. unless a few days bring a great change about, the wheat in the ground will be all frozen out. But roguish old Winter soon bundles his pack of ice, frost, and snow on his jolly old back, and hies to the mountain, but leaves in his stead the goddess of love with the blossom-crowned head. And at a breath that is filled with the nectar and dew, she stole from the heart of the violet blue. A voice, oh, the music that swells on the air, from fresh budding woodland, from hedge, everywhere. Caressed by the sunlight and bathed by the showers, she walks on a carpet of mosses and flowers. Again comes the pessimist, grumpy and grim, and says the fair goddess has no charms for him. 'Tis raining too often, the corn and the wheat will rot in the ground, there'll be nothing to eat. Besides, the old crow, in his greedy delight, now raideth the cornfields from morning till night. A famine is certain, this sure to prevail. And thus the old pessimist keeps up his wail. At last this fair goddess descends from the throne, gives place to another, with all loved unknown. Her crown is of roses, her garment of grain, with silken folds falling and rising again, as scent-laden wind o'er their soft billows plays, enraptured she basks in the blue summer haze, till bliss is dissolved into tear-laden showers that drench all the trees and refresh all the flowers. As softly they fall on the roof o'er our heads, oh, the sleep-haunted rapture the lullaby sheds. Though harvest with plenty his granaries hath filled, the murmuring pessimist never is stilled. He says, as he brushes the sweat from his brow, I don't see the use of such hot weather now. 'Twill dry up the fruit, the grapes on the vine. Unless there's a change, they will yield us no wine. And thus the old pessimist grumbles away the brightness and joy of the long summer day. He teases the evening, he teases the morn, until the fair goddess of autumn is born. She comes heavy laden with fruit from the vine, sweet clusters that drip with the mellowest wine, and rosy-cheeked fruit from the old apple tree, and ears that are golden as golden can be. Enrobed in a garment of crimson and brown, a garland of goldenrod forming her crown. In the mystic delight of the autumn she stands, and showers her gifts o'er the pessimist's lands. While he from his orchard land turns in disgust, saying, Labor avails me but dust, mold, and rust. The winter comes on altogether too fast. The corn that's unhusked will be caught in the blast. My bills, they increase, while my business is slow. I soon shall be broken and bankrupt, I know. There's no satisfaction on land or on sea, for nothing is what I desired it to be. Say, pessimist, say, why you grumble and fret? Know ye not there is one who your needs won't forget? Think ye the kind Father of wisdom so great forgetteth the things which his hands did create? The sparrow sings neither by day nor by night, yet he in his tenderness guideth its flight. He maketh the lily of waxen white hue, and feeds it on showers, on sunshine and dew. Yet lives there a king in such garments arrayed, such beauty as robes this sweet flower of the glade? In rapturous rain the cool waters beside, it looks up and trusts, and its needs are supplied. The richest of treasures to thee will be given, if thou, like the lily, wilt look up to heaven. End of section 13. Recording by Niedermaier.
Section 14 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. The First Easter Dawn. The night is past, the thunder's roar in distance dies away, and in the east a gleam of light foretells the coming day. And women, bearing spices sweet, are hastening on their way toward that tomb so dark and deep, where Jesus' body lay. But who, these faithful women ask, and pause upon their way, when we have reached our Master's tomb, Who'll roll the stone away?" At last they reached the hallowed spot, the tomb that Joseph made, wherein 3 days before their loved and loving Lord was laid. The glory of the golden sun fills budding woods with light. The morning dewdrops sparkle on the Easter lilies white. Sweet odor from the hyacinth upon the breeze is borne. All nature now proclaims with joy, it is the world's first morn. The women stand beside the tomb in deep surprise and fear, for lo, the stone is rolled away, their Master is not there. Impulsive Mary Magdalene stays not, but hastens on, that she may tell the wondrous news to Peter and to John. She tells them, and they come with her unto the hallowed place, and find it just as she has said. Of Jesus there's no trace. Then silently they turn and go, each on his way, save one. 'Tis loving Mary Magdalene, who stays and weeps alone. She's thinking now of days when friends away from her all turned, when thoughtless Mary Magdalene by all the world was spurned. How Jesus, in his wondrous love, had touched her heart within, and led her into righteous paths from those of vilest sin. And as she weeps, she stoops and looks into the sepulchre, and sees 2 angels sitting there, who kindly say to her, "Why weepest thou, O woman?" And Magdalene replies, "Because they've taken away my Lord, I know not where he lies." As Mary speaks, she turns around. Another form is there. She thinks it is the gardener, who kindly says to her, "Whom seekest thou, O woman? Why stand ye weeping there?" Says Mary, "If you've borne him hence, oh, please, sir, tell me where." The Saviour's loving heart is touched, for it is he who speaks, her loving Lord and Master, whom so earnestly she seeks. He draws a little closer now, that she her Lord may know, and answers only, "Mary," in accents soft and low. She raises now her tearful eyes, they are no longer blind, for none but he could speak her name so tenderly and kind. Forgetting in her love so blind the cause for which he died, forgetting all, save at his feet no harm can her betide. With beating heart and outstretched arm she flies her Lord to greet. "Rabboni!" Then she kneels among the lilies at his feet. He looks with tenderest pity on that face with tears still wet, and says, "You must not touch me now, I will not leave you yet. But by and by I will ascend unto my God and thine. Go thou and tell, when thou dost find those true disciples mine." The day is spent, the lily folds her leaves upon her breast, the violets close their dewy eyes, and sweetly sink to rest. The westland crimson glory fades from hilltop, wood, and lawn, night's tender dews fall softly o'er the world's first Easter dawn. End of section 14. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 15 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Ratandeep Singh. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. India. There's a country o'er the billows deep, as fair can be. Its north is bounded by mountains high, with sunlit summits that kiss the sky. Its south by the boundless sea. A stream flows down the mountain side, and swells to the great Ganges. Its placid depths unknown, untold, reflect the sunlight's orient gold, then rest in southern seas. The silken palms their branches wave, as soft as summer sails, and drowsy winds so passing fair, with odors laden, strange and rare, blow soft o'er sunbright vales. And nestling close 'mong sheltering hills, the bamboo huts are seen, like golden billows fall and rise, the seas of grain 'neath Indian skies, by woods of silvered green. The date, the orange, the fig grow ripe, in that golden country where, through fragrant meads the pathways lead, would see God's handiwork indeed. Oh, view the sunset there! 'Tis veiled in clouds of splendid hue, in melting colours rare. Church domes in crimson waves are dyed, and everything seems glorified. Thank God, there are churches there, where once the starry heavens looked down, and wept a nation's blindness, which knew no God to soothe its grief, and women, slaves, found no relief in love or human kindness. Millions of homes today rejoice and praise our God above. Millions have learned the hymn to swell, through missionaries sent to tell of Him whose name is love. But millions still are left in doubt, in darkness and alone. Their restless souls are wrung with grief, they find no respite of relief in heathen gods of stone. They have never heard of Him who gave their glorious sun-kissed shores. God grant what we our efforts lend, to teach them of a loving friend, whom freedom's land adores. Prosper, O Lord, this land of ours, so glad, so proud, so free, that we may missionaries send, till all that beauteous India land has learned to worship Thee. Nothing we give a father's cause escapes his watchful eyes. Each mite will be a jewel rare, to deck the crown we will surely wear some day in paradise. End of section 15.
Section number 16 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Weary. Weary of the tumult of the town, of the burdens and the cares that weigh me down, of oppression, greed, and strife, of the din of city life, disappointments that my noblest efforts crown. Weary of the world's vain gilded styles, though my moment he with softest words beguiles. Though he warble ne'er so blandly, his old heart is false though friendly, for he lingers near me but when fortune smiles. Weary of his griefs and empty show, to the quiet woods alone I love to go, and in sweet repose abide where the sylvan echoes ride on October's drowsy winds that whisper low. Where the bonny squirrel flits among the trees, and the quail his piping flings upon the breeze, where the gold and brown leaves quiver o'er the winding osierd river, bearing on its soft low music to the seas, and the forest oak so grand majestic high, with its rainbow mantled branches woos the sky, and the wind a fairy story breathing o'er the maple's glory brings it down in twirling crimson showers, where lie many springtime flowers fast asleep, spreading over them a cover warm and deep, and the sunlight glints and spangles through the wild and woody tangles, where alone the eye of God doth vigils keep. Standing there on wild leaf-covered sod, where perhaps no human foot before hath trod, my storm-tossed soul is blest in a halo of sweet rest, all alone within the crimson wood with God. End of section 16.
Section 17 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Ginger Kukalo. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. To a Violet. Violet, sweet violet, of modest, dainty grace, why dost thou hide among the grass thy pretty velvet face? Thine eyes are filled with dew, thy breath makes sweet the air of spring, thy whispers low sweet memories of other springtimes bring. Sweet olden, golden springtimes, when bluebirds sang so gay, as I plucked thy sister blossoms from a woodland far away. With her, whose eyes, in color, sweet flower, were just like you, and like you grew in radiance from drinking heaven's blue. Each spring, as lisping children, as romping schoolgirls too, our feet were bathed in violet banks that dripped with melting dew. Our souls were bathed in bliss divine, as all day long we basked in sweet and fragrant winds we knew had kissed them as they passed. But when the summer sun shone hot, their slender stems were dried, their modest heads bent lower, and their fragrant blossoms died. And could we pierce today the blue of heaven's dome so fair, methinks we'd see them blooming in celestial glory there. Culled by our angel Emma, in a rapturous clime that lies in the radiant springtime glory of the fields of paradise. End of section 17. Recording by Ginger Kukalo.
Section 18 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Timothy Luke. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Golden Days, a song. To my sister Emma. I've just seen the first robin of spring, Emma, and he's warbling a sweet little song, bringing back tender memories of you, Emma, and of joys that to childhood belong. He was singing a song to his mate, Emma, a sweet song of happiness and love, and it echoed through woodland and dale, Emma, over valley and hilltop and grove. Oh, those happy, happy days gone by, Emma, their memory is ever dear to me. Oh, those old golden glorious days, Emma, when I played among the flowers with thee. Bringing back tender memories of you, Emma, when life seemed only a song, holding neither a sorrow nor tear, Emma, as we played among the flowers all day long. We gathered the mosses and ferns, Emma, the cowslips and violets so blue, and the crab-apple blossoms so sweet, Emma, and the sweet mellow May-apple too. Oh, those happy, happy days gone by, Emma, their memory is ever dear to me. Oh, those old golden glorious days, Emma, when I played among the flowers with thee. You remember the old apple tree, Emma, with its wide-spreading branches o'erhead. Such perfume I have never since found, Emma, as its sweet fragrant blossoms did shed. But now we are far, far apart, Emma. The sunny days of childhood are o'er. But we'll roam hand in hand among the flowers, Emma, that bloom on the bright golden shore. Oh, those happy, happy days gone by, Emma. Their memory is ever dear to me. Oh, those old golden glorious days, Emma, when I played among the flowers with thee. End of section 18.
Section 19 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by CaprishaPage. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Baby Mine. Tired of laughter, tired of play, baby mine. On my breast thy tresses lay, baby mine. Cooing, loving, prattling too, shine and showers the whole day through. Tires a bonny thing like you, baby mine. Little violets so blue, baby mine, close their eyes now wet with dew, baby mine. Saying, sweetheart, unto you, close those orbs of azure blue, where that glimpse of heaven gleams through, baby mine. Whence that dimpled foot and hand, baby mine? Came they here at love's command, baby mine? Or did angels in their flight drop this little blossom white on the stream of time one night, baby mine? Dimples guard thy crimson lips, baby mine. Prints of fairy fingertips, baby mine. Now the shade of angels' wings sweet repose upon thee brings, silken soft thy slumberings, baby mine. End of section 19. Recording by CaprishaPage. Section 20 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by CaprishaPage. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Lullaby. Rock-a-bye, hush-a-bye, baby my dear. Nothing can harm you, for mother is near. The journey is short, and the stars twinkle bright o'er your path into Bylaland. Baby, good night. Rock-a-bye, hush-a-bye, baby my pet. Grasses that cover your pathway are wet with dewdrops that sparkle like jewels so bright. Rock-a-bye, hush-a-bye, baby, good night. Rock-a-bye, hush-a-bye, sweetheart of mine, rest from their prattle those red lips of thine. Bridges you cross in your Bylaland flight, sway to your footsteps, my baby, good night. Rock-a-bye, hush-a-bye, baby my love, angels are watching thy cradle above. Thy feet into Bylaland's dreamy delight have entered, then rest, little pilgrim, good night. End of section 20. Recording by CaprishaPage.
Section 21 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. A Day in June. To Mercy. This is the month of roses, dear, the sweetest time of all the year. Field, woodland, roadside, everywhere is clad in crimson beauty rare. The very earth beneath our feet is covered with her petals sweet. Where'er we go, the balmy air is laden with sweet fragrance rare. And now and then, dear, we may see the cheerful, busy little bee from out this dainty, crimson flower sip nectar for his winter store. The sky is blue, and there and here we see a fleecy cloud appear. Nor tongue, nor pen can e'er portray the beauties of this sweet June day. In memory, dear, it takes me back along life's sunny backward track, just 13 years, to a sweet June day and a little cot, not far away, where roses bloomed, and song of bird throughout the livelong day was heard. But never was this song so gay as on that blissful, bright June day. Within that little nut-brown cot, on earth the dearest, sweetest spot, a weeping flower, both sweet and gay, first opened to the light of day. As time flew by on fairy wing, this weeping flower, this dainty thing, of all our love demanded part, entwined its tendrils round each heart. Sometimes, without, 'twas dark and dreary, but all within this cot was cheery, because this little floweret gay chased gloom and shadows all away. This dainty thing, so dear to me, this little flower I have in thee. 'Neath blue June sky and rainbow shower, long live earth's purest, sweetest flower. End of section 21. Recording by Britannia.
Section 22 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther KARN. Christmas on the Farm. Don't you remember, oh brother mine, what fun we had at Christmas time, out on the old farm, you and I, that home we loved in days gone by. How up in the loft we used to climb, for nuts stored there in autumn time, to crack and eat by the dear old fire, while the cheerful blaze leapt higher and higher. And when it was time to go to bed, how each tired, sleepy little head was laid on a pillow soft and white, to dream of Christmas that livelong night. And how in the morn, before 'twas light, our eyes were opened wide and bright, and as we ran a race down the high old stair, to see if Santa had been there, and brought his bundle of toys with him, and filled our stockings up to the brim. But dear old Santa would always stop, and fill them full to the very top. Then we'd away to the old hillside, the country shoemaker's cot beside, just round the corner near the wood, where the tall old beech tree grew and stood. And the snowbirds hopped on its boughs array, as our brand new sled went whizzing by. And down to the foot of the hill we'd go, over the crystal Christmas snow. Oh, could life's downward journey be as free from care as you and me, our hearts be filled with the same glad rays of those olden golden Christmas days, when my life was so sunny, bright and new. Oh brother mine, for me and you, a happier home none ever had than ours, holding hearts so light and glad. But those happy Christmas days of yore to us will come again no more, for she who chased all our care away sings a Christmas anthem in heaven today. End of section 22. Recording by Elli in September 2012.
Section 23 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Snowflakes by Esther KARN. My Little Brown-Eyed Sweetheart. When evening shadows gather round, and work of day is done, when down the west horizon sinks the glorious golden sun, and sweetly sing the whippoorwills ode to the closing day, back to my home among the hills my visions often stray. Though time from memory may efface all else that's sweet and tender, those happy olden golden days I ever shall remember. O happy olden golden days, O days with sunshine laden, when I wandered o'er those verdant hills with a little brown-eyed maiden. Where flowers were fair, and fields were green, and trees with blossoms laid, 'twas there I met and loved and wooed a little brown-eyed maid. And oftentimes she'd sing to me sweetly her flower song, as o'er those verdant flowery hills we gaily strolled along. Though time from memory may efface all else that's sweet and tender, those happy olden golden days I ever shall remember. O happy olden golden days, O days with sunshine laden, when I wandered o'er those verdant hills with the little brown-eyed maiden. But that was years, long years ago. Yet o'er and o'er again in dreams I'm with my brown-eyed love, and hear that sweet refrain. Though death's cold frost has touched my flower, and bid its life depart, yet still within my soul doth live my little brown-eyed sweetheart. Though time from memory may efface all else that's sweet and tender, those happy olden golden days I ever shall remember. O happy olden golden days, O days with sunshine laden, when I wandered o'er those verdant hills with a little brown-eyed maiden. End of section 23. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 24 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Timothy Luke. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. I Know Two Eyes, a song. I know two eyes, two jet black eyes, yet fond and true and tender. I see them in the twinkling stars and in the glowing ember. You girls may talk of sweet blue eyes, or on soft brown eyes tarry, but I will take those jet black eyes, so sparkling bright and merry. They come to me at twilight hour, they come in morning early. They come my every joy to share, those jet black eyes so merry. They come at noon, and when I'm sad, they look at me so kindly. Their ever tender sparkling glance dwells on me oh so fondly. I know two eyes, two jet black eyes, yet fond and true and tender. They're bright as any twinkling star up in the heavens yonder. I look into those sparkling eyes, those jet black eyes so merry, and see within their radiant depths the love light of my dearie. End of section 24.
Section 25 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Cupid's Mistake. Cupid looked forth one bright spring day, and whispered, "Now I must away. Old Winter, with his frost and snow, took his departure long ago. Over roadside, field, and woodland too, sweet violets grow, with eyes so blue. Blossoms of every hue and shade, the balmy air with perfume lade. There's light and sunshine everywhere, all nature is so wondrous fair. Even from the woods the wild birds sing a welcome to the newborn spring. This surely is my harvest time, to make men bow at love's sweet shrine. For all around, below, above, will help me make men fall in love. So from beneath his flowery tent he started on this mission bent. First to the halls of wealth and rank went cunning Cupid with his prank. On reaching them, to his dismay, those halls in deepest quiet lay, and music, once the food of love, could not be heard below, above. So Cupid's little wings he spread, and flying to himself he said, "The lawyer will be in, I know, he's poring o'er his books, I trow. Poor fellow, what a lot is his, to be shut up a day like this, from sunlight, flowers, and wild bird song, trying to balance right and wrong. I'll take my tiny little dart, and lightly touch the lawyer's heart, and show him how love's sweet, glad light can make his stingy office bright." But when he reached the longed-for spot, he found the studious lawyer not. These words he read upon the door, "The lawyer will be in at 4. "To the office of the doctor kind I'll go," said he, "for there I'll find him tending to his patients ill, with soothing balms and dainty pills." But doctor's doors was closed, and lo, just as poor Cupid turned to go, these words he read 'twixt tears, "Alack! At 6 the doctor will be back." Next to the dentist man he flew, and called upon the merchant too, in every place the city round, but not a bit of game he found. "Well, well," said Cupid with a moan, "the world has cold and heartless grown." So once again his wings he spread, and over country roads he sped, back toward his home among spring flowers, and shady walks, and leafy bowers. But as he flew the stream beside, a crowd of wheelmen there he spied. "Ha, ha!" laughed he, "I've found them all, both short and tall, both great and small. Oh, what a pretty lad I see, gliding along so merrily, with pretty boots laced to the knee, his limbs how shapely, blithe, and free. If I can get such game as he, this trip a grand success will be." So saying this, his bow he bent, and through the air his arrow sent. Straight toward his pretty lad it flew, and pierced his bosom through and through. My, wasn't that a blissful aim? I'll fly to earth and get my game. But when he reached the laddie's side, he looked perplexed, then horrified, then quickly rose and flew away, and as he went was heard to say, "Oh, what a blunder! Now I see Fort Wayne is not the place for me, for, counting now my time and cost, this lovely day is worse than lost. My wings are weary, brains awhirl, for oh, 'twas but a bloomer girl." End of section 25. Recording by Julia Niedermaier.
Section 26 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Tyler Harms. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Dewey's Victory. 'Tis morning at Manila, the first dawn of the May. Along the eastern horizon we see the light of day. As spreads its golden splendor and drives away the night, the hills that guard the islands are decked with diamonds bright. The cocoa palms so olden, now robed in silvered green, stretch their broad branches heavenward to golden fields serene. And yon cathedral spire gleams with glory from the skies, the beauty of the Sabbath across the city lies. A little bay rests softly among those sun-kissed isles, reflecting heaven's azure and basking in God's smiles. Upon its sleeping waters a Spanish squadron lies, her flags unfurl their folds and upon sweet breezes rise. Lo, another fleet approaches, more beauteous and grand. The flag she bears so proudly has waved o'er freedom's land. She comes across the billows, and in freedom's cause today, the smoke and fire of battle enfold Manila Bay. Look, on Fort Cavite they're firing, their efforts now prevail. 'Tis shattered into splinters, and Spanish cheeks grow pale. The cannons belch forth thunder, the shells burst thick and fast. With might charge freedom's heroes amid the purple blast. The handsome flagship Reina, Christina's sinking now. She's robed in flames and ruin from the Olympia's snowy bow. Now all the Spanish squadron, its proud and dauntless crew, sinks mid the storm of battle, 'neath troubled waters blue. Nor falls a single hero in freedom's cause so true, while fighting 'neath the banner that's red and white and blue. The Philippines are freed from all tyrant rule and reign, avenged the noble sailors on board our gallant Maine. The gory hands of Spain are in ocean waters laved, o'er whose enchanted bosom this morn her banner waved. Hills, mountains, vales, and rocks ring with shouts of victory, as falls the sunset's crimson across the earth and sea. And Dewey's noble squadron that bravely won the day, on drowsy winds is floating, Old Glory o'er the bay. All hail, our great commander, thou hero of the sea! With your brave and noble boys you have captured victory. Your name is wreathed in glory, its praises will be sung wherever freedom's flag is to freedom's breezes flung. The guns you fired today, on the 1st of flowering May, will thunder o'er Spain's hilltops 10,000 miles away. Fling higher freedom's emblem, long may its colors wave, where God has given victory to freedom's noble brave. End of section 26. Recording by Tyler Harms, Gardner, Kansas. Section 27 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Tyler Harms. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Battle of Santiago Bay. Just off the coast of an isle that lies where silvered, feathery palm trees rise, as if their branches would kiss the skies so blue, so far away, when woke each vale the Sabbath bell, on seas that gently rose and fell, our nation's warships lay. As dreamily, lazily basking, they in quiet tropical sunshine lay, in sight of a placid, sleeping bay, where anchored the Spaniards' ships, a big boat's coming from the bay. The Spaniard squadron comes this way, came loud from a lookout's lips. As one by one came the fleet of Spain across the bay, toward the main, with hope in each bosom they once again launched forth on open sea. Each man to his gun, the Commodore cried, and the warships plowed through the cloven tide, in the trail of the enemy. Full speed ahead, open fire, the Commodore's voice rose higher and higher, midst smoke and flames to the enemy nigher, the gallant fleet plunged on. The cannons poured forth fire and thunder, the great shells cleft the waves asunder, as gun replied to gun. Right through the hot hellfire and shell, through mist and smoke and shot that fell, o'er ship and boiling sea, pell-mell, charged freedom's heroes true. For o'er the battle's smoke and fury waved high the synonym of glory, the old red, white, and blue. Great crashing volleys, long and loud, swept from the decks the Spaniards proud, then wrapped their boats in a smoky shroud, and left them beached and burning. Their decks in human blood were laved, o'er which the yellow banner waved so vauntingly that morning. That eve the sunset's crimson ray touched gently, softly, tenderly, the waves that moaned where the lost fleet lay, the pride of Spain erstwhile, and crowned the man who climbed the height to plant Old Glory's spangles bright on sun-kissed Cuba's isle. End of section 27. Recording by Tyler Harms, Gardner, Kansas.
Section 28 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. The Old Man's Story. We'd been a-talkin', me and Ma, a deal about our Bill. He was well nigh on to 30, and gettin' older still. He wa'n't a lazy lad, you see, was tall and strong and big, but to accomplish anything he must get up and dig. Next we sot out to talk o' Sal. She wa'n't a handsome lass, but loviner or kinder soul ne'er stepped on medder grass. Says I, good women never grows from idle gals, 'tis true. So we decided Sally should earn her own livin' too. Then we talked about the twins, about our Joe and Jim. Joe allus was a truant cuss, and oft I've walloped him for runnin' way from school to watch the ships come in at sea. He allus said, "When I'm a man, a sailor I will be." Was allus gettin' into scraps on politics at school. It wa'n't no use to send him, he broke ever' gol-derned rule. But Jim was sort o' studious, he cared a heap for books. Lazy, I guess. On summer days he'd find the shady nooks and lay and read, while me and Bill got out and done the work, and earned a decent livin' for this lazy, wuthless shirk. But Sue, she was a handsome gal. Her cheek was like the rose. Her breath was sweet as any breeze the June time ever blows. Her eyes was dark and full of fire. Her cheeks was cherry red. Her body sort o' willery, but she'd a haughty head. But if you wanted her to work, she never could be found. And mebbe if you scoured the farm and all the country round, you'd find her sittin' in a tree, a-whistlin' of the tune she'd heerd the medderlark a-singin' to the skies o' June. And so one night I called 'em in, I think just arter tea. Says I, "We've clothed and edicated you, your ma and me, but now we're gettin' old, our j'ints o' rheumatism tells, and it's high time for you to airn a livin' for yourselves." Our kids was proud as any Indianers ever grown, and so for another month they left us all alone. Bill went to Philadelphy town and hired to a store as keeps all sorts of things in lots, millions, maybe more. Sal went to work for Deacon Dobbs, and Joe went off to sea. But Jim turned out an editor. A mighty man was he. Along come one o' them 'ere shows with gals that danced and sang, and spite of all her ma could say, our Sue, she jined the gang. As years went by, our Bill he wed a handsome city wife, and went to livin' in accord with high dad's city life. The children come till he possessed of them a mammoth fold, and everything he teched just seemed to turn to yaller gold. Sal, wed to Deacon Dobbs's son, was happy, but so poor, and many children played around her country cabin door. But then she loved that worthless man, and p'raps when all is told, she's happier'n she would have been if she had wed for gold. The last I heerd of Rompin' Sue, I believe it was a hit, they called it, that she made in France, and every night she'd get great piles of flowers, roses and sich, yeller, red, and white, and every time she danced she fetched 10,000 francs a night. But Jim, poor Jim, our lazy boy, he didn't fare so well. He's good in learnin', but somehow his paper didn't sell. But why it didn't I can't tell, and often wonder yet, for when the people brung in stuff as for his paper writ that didn't sound just right to him, and wasn't right in looks, he allus took and made it right, for Jim was good in books. He knowed about the President, Congress, and Senate too, could tell you all that they had done, and what they'd ought to do. And when he found he couldn't make enough to buy a bike, he walked off down the railroad track toward the Klonindike. But do you know that wuthless Joe turned out the best of all? When downtrod Cupid needed help, he answered duty's call, and what he taught old haughty Spain I guess she'll not forget, for the way he licked them Spaniards was a caution, now you bet. The people all went wild about his bravery and fame, and now he's got an admiral hitched on afore his name. But nary youngster would 'a' knowed what in his brain-pan lay, if I hadn't said, "Get up and dust," to them that summer day. End of section 28. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 29 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. To my dog. Noble fellow, faithful friend, devoted, kind, and true, in all this wide, wide world I've found no one who loves like you. Faithful dog, rememberest thou, oh, lucky day for thee, when thou, a friendless puppy, came to beg a crust from me? Then thou wast hungry, footsore, cold, thy sides were lank and thin, but when I saw thy friendly face, I gladly took thee in. Now thou art beautiful and plump, thy fur is soft and sleek, a pretty collar buckled round thy noble glossy neck. But thou, O noble trusty friend, repay'st this care of mine 1,000-fold, for who could spurn devotion such as thine? I know if thou, in time to come, some other friend should find, thou wilt not say of me harsh words and sentences unkind. So they who would our friendship scorn, my fondness would reprove, would better come to thee and learn true gratitude and love. End of section 29. Recording by Niedermaier.
Section 30 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by CaprishaPage. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Somebody. There's somebody staying round our house, I don't know who or where, that sneaks and follers me out, and in and everywhere I go, and stirbs my skates and things, and scatters 'em all about. But you bet your stuff it'll go mighty tough with him when I find him out. Though I hang my hat and coat away up on the peg with care, I'll just be bound they can't be found when I want 'em anywhere. When I've hunted for 'em till I'm late for school, and mad as one old March hare, and a dozen more, right down on the floor, I'll find that hat just where somebody's went and throwed it down. It's the same with my books each day, my bat and ball, my mittens and all, though I'm sure I put 'em away. But I tell you this, if I ever find who that meddlesome somebody is, I'll rout him and scout him, and all that's about him. I'll learn him to mind his biz. End of section 30. Recording by CaprishaPage.
Section 31 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Timothy Luke. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. The Hero of Everyday Life, a Song. We sing of the hero of battle, we cherish and worship his name, of the hero of old and the hero of gold, of him who has honor and fame, the hero of love's tender passion, who basks in its mystical ray, as we journey along, but never a song for the hero we meet every day. The one who can face so bravely his losses, rebuffs, and defeat, Whose heart will not break though the world may forsake, from the enemy will not retreat, who never will murmur at fate when it seems an unmerciful foe, but struggles along with a heart true and strong, and strikes a far nobler blow. Though his last golden castle is shattered and sown to the wind long ago, each one that he meets with a warm smile he greets, his burden we never may know. But hark, sweetest melodies mingle with the din of earth's tumult and strife. Heaven's joyous bells ring and archangels sing for the hero of everyday life. End of section 31.
Section 32 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Ginger Kukalo. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. The Child's Inquiry. Oh, where is that beautiful city, Mama? The one that is called Fort Wayne? Does it rest in the light of a clear blue sky, way out on a sandy plain? Or may it be found where the roses climb over trellises built so high that if you would pluck off the topmost one, you'd have to climb up to the sky? Or where all the streets are so smooth and so clean that buggies and bicycles too glide along with all ease in the sweet dreamy breeze like balloons in soft heavens of blue? Mother, not there, my child, not there. Fort Wayne is a hustling city, my dear, on the banks of the old Maumee, where most of the folks are too busy to care the beauties of nature to see. 'Tis a place where they all pay a tax, my dear, for repairing the street, you know, that they all may enjoy their bicycles, dear, as bumpety-bump they go. And should you e'er enter that city, my dear, be sure that you always look down, or first thing you know in a rut you will go and find yourself flat on the ground. Or if 'tis not you that is flat on the ground, your bicycle ruined will be. There are tacks, broken beer bottles strewn all around, and your tire will be punctured, you see. Fort Wayne is the city of tags, my dear, as every taxpayer knows. Tags on their horses, their wheels, and their dogs, and tags from their heads to their toes. When its people go into the country, my dear, to enjoy its cool breezes and shade, they are bangled and spangled with tags, my dear, till they look like a circus parade. It is there, my child, it is there. End of section 32. Recording by Ginger Kukalo.
Section 33 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. To the Old Town Clock. O servant faithful, tried and true, through sunshine, storm, and shower, thy face for nearly 40 years has graced the courthouse tower. Thy hands have never idle hung, thy face was always cheery, thy ever-swinging pendulum seemed never, never weary. When we were late to work or school, how gently didst thou chide us, telling in soft and muffled chimes how swiftly time glides by us. Oh, how the workman loved thy voice when thou at set of sun proclaimed in softest, sweetest chimes that his day's work was done. But to us all it lost its charm, and sounded cross and surly when wakened by its loud alarm in morning, oh, so early. The maple trees that spread their boughs o'er the courthouse yard below each year yield up their foliage to winter's frost and snow. The birds that nest and sing among their boughs in summer time, when winter winds begin to blow, all seek a sunny clime. But thou, O tried and faithful one, wert always just the same, keeping the time with merry chime through sunshine, snow, and rain. For 40 years thou'st kept the time, while in the court below stood he who perpetrated crime, waiting his doom to know. And when a murderer was tried who for a little pay did take the life of a trusting friend in a hut not far away, 1, 2, 3, we heard thee say, in measured tones and slow, as forth to be tried in heavenly courts his blood-stained soul did go. O cruel was thy fate, old clock, for many days ago thy old familiar face was crushed by workmen's sturdy blow. They say they'll build a new court-house, and that they will replace by timepiece handsome, bright, and new, thy old storm-beaten face. Then thou, O servant tried and true, through storm, sunshine, and shower, the music of thy mellow chimes we'll hear again no more. End of section 33. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 34 of Snowflakes. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Timothy Luke. Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN. Afterwhile, somewhere. Some day the misty shadow that covers your heaven of blue will be melted and you will see the rainbow gleaming through. The tears you've shed in silence for love that was wasted here, be still, O soul, they'll find their goal, afterwhile, somewhere. Though deeds of tenderest kindness oft bitter reproaches bring, as the drowning bee that you'd set free repays you with a sting, the pain you bear in silence, with confidence wasted here, will blossoms yield in a sun-kissed field, afterwhile, somewhere. Though years of honest labor success has never crowned, no fruit they brought, though nobly wrought, dire fate has always frowned. The seed you've sown with patience, the labor you've wasted here, again will bloom in the harvest home, afterwhile, somewhere. End of section 34. End of Snowflakes by Esther Nelson KARN.